Most people today want three things: time freedom, financial freedom, and the ability to live life on their own terms. Not to be wealthy just for the sake of it, but to take back the one thing modern society keeps stealing from us: our actual lives. But here's what nobody tells you: you will never build true freedom alone. I know that sounds counterintuitive in a world that celebrates the solo entrepreneur and the self-made millionaire. But think about it, throughout history, humans have never actually succeeded in isolation. For thousands of years, we live in tribes, villages, and communities united around shared goals. Aristotle understood this when he wrote that humans are naturally social animals. What he meant was simple: to truly thrive, you need other people, not just for survival, but for meaning, growth, and purpose. Yet modern society taught us the complete opposite. It programmed us to chase success alone, to grind in isolation, to figure everything out by ourselves. And now millions are stuck, not because they lack ability, but because they're missing direction, accountability, and a sense of belonging. We don't fail because the path is too difficult. We fail because we're walking it alone. Let's trace this back. Think about how society conditions us from the beginning. Parents pass down their worldview, often unconsciously. They were shaped by previous generations, and they shape their children based on what they know. Then comes the education system. Research from institutions like UC San Diego shows that schools were designed to create compliant workers and obedient citizens. The Prussian model that became the foundation for modern education wasn't built to teach critical thinking. It was built to standardize thought and produce people who fit into existing systems. Students learn from teachers who learn from teachers. The curriculum gets determined by those who went through the same system. Universities funded by corporations with specific agendas train the next generation of professors. It's circular validation. Then information sources reinforce everything. Media outlets owned by corporations shape narratives. Search algorithms prioritize establishment sources. Social media creates echo chambers that create existing biases. Everyone's getting their information from the same interconnected web of sources that all validate each other. Scientists trust studies from other scientists. Students trust information from teachers trained by the system. Parents teach children based on what they learn from that same system. The loop continues. Social media took this to an entirely new level. Platforms act as amplification machines for mimetic desire. The algorithms claim they show you what you want to see, but they're actually programming you to want what others appear to have. Every scroll reinforces neural pathways. You start thinking you want the highlights of someone else's life. You begin comparing your behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. Studies have ever shown that AI tools are changing human speech patterns. People start using certain phrases more frequently after interacting with AI. Our language is adapting to match the machines that learn from us. And here's what's concerning. If language shapes how we think, and our language is becoming more limited and uniform, our ability to think critically is narrowing. The entire system is rigged this way. Jobs force compliance with structures created by those who went through the same system. Marketing manipulates desires from childhood. Social circles punish deep questioning. Dating and relationships often require conformity. Even therapists and coaches are products of the same educational pipeline. Every part of society validates and reinforces the others. When you question one source, you get programmed responses. Trust the experts. It's in the research. That's just how it works. This brings us to where we are today. We celebrate independence, but we are drowning in loneliness. We have access to unlimited information, yet we are experiencing minimal transformation. We scroll endlessly, but rarely grow meaningfully. The modern world has billions of connections, but almost no real connection. Algorithms replace mentors. Notifications replace actual conversation. The make money online space became a noisy marketplace of strangers shouting at strangers, each promising they have the secret formula. But here's a shift happening right now. People no longer want just information. They want guidance. They want support. They want to belong somewhere. People aren't searching for another course or another PDF. They're searching for an environment where they feel understood, where they feel safe to grow, and where they can work alongside others heading in the same direction. Every ancient civilization understood this. They had communities of practice. Philosophers gathered in the agora. Students learned in Plato's academy. Artists developed their craft in Renaissance guilds. Monks grew together in temples. warriors train in clans. Confucius thought that when three people work together, each can find a teacher among the others. Seneca advised associating with people who are likely to improve you. Before books existed, there were teachers. Before the internet, there were elders. Before online courses, there were tribes. People grew through shared wisdom, shared mistakes, and shared vision. Community was the original school, the original classroom, the original economy. Then we abandoned it. We bought into the myth of the lone wolf entrepreneur, and we are paying the price. So how do you actually break out of this loop? How do you escape when even the people teaching escape are products of the same system? The answer isn't to reject society entirely or become a hermit. The answer is to build your own matrix, your own environment, your own tribe. Here's the thing, the mind creates order and certainty. That's why we quickly adopt the psychological infrastructure others assign to us. We pursue society's default goals, which influences what we learn, which influences our choices, which condition our habits, which we then unconsciously repeat. This all starts with a goal, a clear vision for your future that you generate yourself, not one handed to you. You need to replace, go to school, get a job, retire, with something more meaningful. But many try this and fail. Why? Because the fear of ending up like everyone else doesn't outweigh the fear of discomfort. You can tell yourself you care deeply about your goals, but if another unconscious goal is taking priority, nothing changes. So how do you create a goal so compelling that you have no choice but to pursue it? You gain complete awareness of where your life is heading if you keep doing the same things. You question your current path and sit with that discomfort without immediately searching for someone else to give you answers. You become so clear on the life you don't want that the pain of staying the same makes the pain of change feel manageable. You need an anti-vision, a clear picture of the life you refuse to live that becomes your reference point for aiming in a different direction. Traditional education has some benefits. It helps with basic socialization, teaches reading and writing, and provides a foundational operating system for functioning in society. But it fails at actual education. If education means discovery, the current system does the opposite. Everyone learns the same topics. Everyone chooses from the same classes. Everyone looks up the same high-paying skills to enter a race to the bottom. This becomes the only path visible because self-education hasn't begun yet. The good news, we now live in a world where you can learn anything and do anything without permission. Here's how to take advantage of this. Start by noting the current problems in your life. These usually fall into health, wealth, relationships, and happiness. What's wrong with your fitness, your finances, your social connections? Pick one. Then explore the internet as a curator, not a consumer. Experiment with various approaches without becoming dogmatic. Dedicate at least 30 to 60 minutes daily to learning in a way that directly connects to your self-generated goals. Most importantly, expose yourself to entirely different environments and let your beliefs be challenged. You reprogram your unconscious by aligning your actions and learning with goals you assign yourself. The process is set a goal, interpret information, act, make mistakes, correct those mistakes, and repeat. Agency is the ability to act without permission. It's the belief that difficult tasks can become easier with the right approach. Goals fall into three categories. Easy goals you can do now with current resources, impossible goals that violate reality, and difficult goals you can't do yet but could eventually accomplish with the right skills and resources. Think about this. If someone told you that you had to achieve something significant within a year, you either see it as impossible and give up, or you do everything in your power to make it happen. The difference is agency. This reveals two problems with how most people think. First, they have an external locus of control. They believe great accomplishments come from luck rather than skill. When they need help, they look to others instead of themselves. Their first reaction is to blame, not think. Second, they lack the intersection of importance and urgency. They haven't educated themselves or experimented enough to generate genuine passion around a specific direction. Without their aim, they are thrown around like puppets by someone else's desires rather than put forward by their own. Education isn't really about facts and figures. It's about developing agency in yourself. A high agency person will learn whatever they need to do what they want to do. A low agency person waits for someone to hand them the answer. Now, here's where everything connects. You might be thinking, okay, I need to develop agency. pursue self-education, and create meaningful goals. But how do I actually do this without falling into the same traps? This is where the power of community becomes essential. For the first time in history, you don't need a physical city or village to build a tribe. You can create one from your laptop. You can lead one from anywhere. You can build a modern community as a one-person business. This is the business model that's emerging right now. You, community, transformation, income. Your goal isn't to be a guru with all the answers. It's to be a guide, a facilitator, a curator of a space where people can grow together. AI can automate content, it can handle tasks, it can even run entire systems. But AI cannot automate trust, belonging, human connection, identity, emotional transformation, or the feeling of I found my people. Community is the one thing technology cannot replace, which makes it the most future-proof approach you can build. Research in sociology and psychology proves that transformation happens fastest in groups. People stick to new habits longer when others are watching. People grow stronger when the environment pushes them. People feel safer when surrounded by others moving in the same direction. This is why people are willing to invest in communities. Not for access to more information, the internet already has that for free, but for alignment, for connection, for identity, for accountability. In ancient times, people paid to join guilds and apprenticeships. Today, they invest to join communities. The psychology is identical, only the medium has changed. If you're realizing that building a community-based business might be a path forward, I want to introduce you to something I've created called the One Person Business Academy. It's a community specifically designed to help people start and grow their own one-person business online. Inside, you will find educational resources, frameworks, and most importantly, a tribe of people walking the same path. You're not figuring this out alone anymore. I'll leave more details at the end, but keep this in mind as we continue. Humans are tool builders. Throughout history, when we encounter problems like being cold, hungry, or in danger, we created fire, shelter, and weapons. Once those tools existed, they enable us to build a society we have today. Becoming a creator is central to living a meaningful life. Research on happiness and fulfillment consistently shows that it comes from two things: making progress and contributing to something beyond yourself. Both are accomplished by solving problems for yourself and others. Problems get solved through creativity. The intersection of purpose and profit lies in creating solutions to issues you find interesting, then sharing those solutions to contribute to humanity. As you become equipped with more knowledge, skills, and resources, you can solve increasingly complex problems. Life improves as your challenges shift from shallow to meaningful. Right now, the highest leverage place to create is on the internet. The internet is a path of high agency. You don't need permission to create something and share it. You don't need permission to find the information you need. This may change in the future, but the principle remains constant. Share the value you acquire in a place where the right people can find it. Being a modern tribe leader doesn't mean pretending to know everything or being perfect. A leader is simply someone who goes first, sets a direction, gathers people around a mission, and creates a space where others can grow. In ancient tribes, the leader wasn't always the strongest or smartest. Often, they were simply the person who cared the most about the group's well-being. In the digital age, a leader is someone who steps forward and says, "Let's walk this path together." People aren't looking for experts who have it all figured out. They're looking for guides who are a few steps ahead and willing to share what they have learned. They're looking for a space where they can grow alongside others. A community-based one-person business unlocks the three freedoms most people want. Time freedom. You're not trading hours for dollars. You're building an environment that can grow even when you step away. Community members support each other, reducing the burden on you alone. Location freedom. Your tribe follows you digitally. Your income isn't tied to a specific city, office, or physical location. You can lead from anywhere with an internet connection. Financial freedom. You don't need millions of followers or a massive audience. You just need a small tribe who trusts you and values the space you have created. The math is simple. 100 people paying $20 monthly is $2,000. 200 people is $4,000. 500 people is $10,000 per month. This is the smallest, simplest, most sustainable online business model for the years ahead. The world is changing rapidly. Traditional systems are becoming unstable. Jobs that seem secure are disappearing. AI is rewriting every industry. But one constant remains. People need people. People need guidance. People need real connection. Those who understand this shift, who build communities, who gather tribes, who create environments for growth, will be the ones who thrive. Throughout history, the most influential individuals weren't always the richest. They were the ones who built and led tribes. Today, you have the opportunity to become that person. Not with a corporation, not with investors, not by waiting for permission, but with a message, a mission, a community, a modern tribe led by you. So where do you start? First, you need clarity on your own path. What problems have you solved or are you currently solving? What knowledge have you gained that others are searching for? What community would you have wanted to be part of when you were stuck? Second, you need to start gathering people. This doesn't happen overnight. You begin by sharing value publicly, by documenting your journey, by showing up consistently in a space where your future tribe members are looking for answers. Third, you create a space where those people can connect not just with you, but with each other. The measure of community isn't just in the leader-member relationship, it's in the member-to-member relationships that form. This is exactly what we have built inside the One Person Business Academy. It's a community where people learn to start their one-person business, but more importantly, where they find their tribe. You get access to educational resources covering everything from finding your niche to building your offer to growing your audience. But the real value is a community itself. People who understand what you're going through because they're going through it too. You're not trying to figure out this new path alone, while your old social circle questions every decisions. You're surrounded by people who get it, people who are building alongside you, people who hold you accountable when motivation fades and celebrate with you when breakthroughs happen. If you're tired of walking this path alone, if you're ready to build something meaningful, check the link in the description to learn more about joining the One Person Business Academy. The systems that shape us don't have to define us. The matrix we were born into doesn't have to be the matrix we live in forever. You can create your own environment. You can pursue an education based on your interests and goals. You can develop high agency. You can become a value creator who builds a tribe around a shared mission. This isn't about rejecting society entirely. It's about consciously designing your reality instead of unconsciously accepting what was handed to you. It's about recognizing that while you were conditioned by systems outside your control, you now have the tools to recondition yourself, to reprogram your unconscious mind toward goals that actually matter to you. And most importantly, it's about understanding that you don't have to do this alone. In fact, you can't do it alone, not if you want to truly thrive. The future belongs to those who build communities, those who bring people together around shared visions, who create spaces where transformation happens collectively. So the question isn't whether you should build a tribe. The question is, will you be brave enough to start gathering one? Before you go, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. And if this resonated with you, leave a comment sharing your biggest takeaway. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.